Hello all, this is part 3 of Q&A interview questions that Sifu Ricky Bear asked me to kind of go over for the CJKD group, the Contemporary Jeet Kune Do group, also known as Descendants of the Dragon, or the Master, which is Bruce Lee, the Dragon. So one of the questions, I'm just going to read it here. It says, tell me about your marketing plan. We went over that last time. Kind of what social media platforms do you use? So for myself, for my branding and my marketing, for myself as an individual and as a company under Blocker Academy of Martial Arts, my martial art program, and my Blocker Savate Club, my Savate program, I still use Facebook just because it connects me with at least 5,000 plus people. And then I don't have to send a bunch of emails out or blast it or worry about the limit of how many emails I could send out in one period. I post it. If people are interested and want to keep up, they can tune in. If they're not interested or have no interest in seeing what's happening on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or quarterly for seminars, then they just won't check in, and that's fine. And then I also try to do, when I'm doing the bigger seminars, I'll set up a Facebook like an event page, and then that way I can start emailing and adding people that I think might be interested, and they can repost it to their websites. LinkedIn, which is a professional network, I'll usually post the same type of links to my website and say, for more information, contact me for this seminar, and just kind of briefly put the dates out. And again, that gives me access to about another 8,000 people. And then in addition to my personal Facebook, which limits you to 5,000 friends, which I usually max out on that one, then I'll have a separate Facebook account just for Blocker Academy of Martial Arts. I have some other ones that are for some of the other posts and the other networks that I'm in, but you should have your personal Facebook account, and you should have one for your Martial Art Academy, whatever you call it or want to post it as. And then you can check the settings. If you don't want to read people's comments, just disable the comments, or put restrictions on it if people use foul language or that type of thing, or just start deleting people as they become rude, or they take up too much time on the Facebook post, and that's fine. And then I do Instagram, but Instagram is kind of a minimum platform. I know that millennials use it a lot, but usually they don't give you a lot of space to put more than 10 pictures at a time, and not really much for posting a lot of verbiage on there. But it's nice every so often I'll do a just like one picture of a flyer if I'm doing a seminar, because there is some people in my network that only have Instagram where they won't have Facebook, and vice versa. So you need to make sure you're hitting both targets. And then you should have a website as well, and you can get free websites. There's tons of websites out there that you don't have to invest money in. Wix.com is an easy one to set up your own template and just follow the directions, and they'll help you with it. And then you could pay for a premium account, which is about $128 a year, and that gets you more editing access, and you can add stuff like payment plans and just different types of hyperlinks that you can set up on that, and it gives you a better base of usability with the mobile app as well. And I just did that myself. It's nothing too fancy, but at least kind of has the information there that if somebody emails me or texts me and says, hey, I'd like more information on this, that, or the other, I could say, you should get most of that information on the website, as well as additional links and videos. And then I definitely recommend everybody have a YouTube page, a YouTube channel. Again, that's free unless you want to pay for the premium, and that's not that expensive. I think it's like $10-15 a month for the premium. Gives you a little bit more options on editing and marketing as well. And then, so what I've done over the last maybe 4 years is I just, when I have time, I'll just videotape some instruction as I'm teaching the students, or the beginners especially, so you break down a technique or make a point for a strategy or a tactic. And then, it might be between 15 seconds long to 7 minutes long, and then I'll upload that. So right now I have maybe about 800 martial art techniques, and I'll throw some other videos in there of interest in that same setup. It's not as organized as I want it to be. I still want to actually categorize it. So this would be like the Jiu-Jitsu techniques, the Savate techniques, the Street JKD techniques, the CKJC techniques, that type. So I have a long way to go, but my ultimate goal for that one is to have at least 1,000 techniques for each of the systems that I integrate within the Jeet Kune Do. So that's just my marketing. It also helps. The biggest marketing for myself has been getting on the shows, the Doomsday Prepper Season 2 and the Hurt Locker episode, which had a lot of repeat play. It went on, it's still on Netflix, I believe. So between the Netflix reviews, between the YouTube's postings on it, the forums they have on the National Geographic channel, and then the overseas filming that it filmed in Australia and England and all those places, Canada, Mexico, South America. Tons of views on that. It marketed on Animal Planet, National Geographic's, a few other those types of networks. So that gave me a lot of exposure. And again, that's free advertisement. How I got that gig is I just I had a booth and I was a special speaker at the Self-Reliance Expo in Denver. And National Geographic's had a table there and they're looking for participants. And then I did a little video presentation, maybe like 5 minutes long. And then they contacted me. And then my wife and I did that show. And then before that, there was the Deadliest Warrior, Spike TV. Again, it's great marketing. That became #1 in Canada for a reality education-based show, #2 in the US for the same category. It went on Netflix for a couple of years, and then it also went and aired overseas as well. Initially, Morningstar Entertainment did it, sold it to Spike TV. Then Spike TV is no longer around, and it sold to other networks. So that was a huge part of review, because that got me like right away the first year like 7 million views. So that gave me a much more active audience. And then I also did interview on a little sequence of series of films that was on National Geographic's called Selling Survivor. And then even way back when in the shoot, it was about 1993, Higan Machado, myself, TJ Storms, Malibu, a few other actors, actresses, and stunt people, including Daniel Sullivan, Rod Kay, Carl Van Meter, good friends of mine. We all did this film called Enter the Blood Ring, which is it's a B-rated movie, but it went to video and it went overseas and it went on DVD. So even though it was a low budget film, it still got a lot of airtime and a lot of publicity. So what I recommend, and then articles, write articles, and Paul Vunek alludes to this all the time. He's like, just submit articles. And now with everything being online, it's easy to do for your marketing. So I highly recommend doing blogs, doing articles, connecting with other networks. So I've written in the past for Preparative Radio Network and had my own snake blocker survival show with them. I wrote for another prepper magazine, like a doomsday prepper type magazine. Native Digest, wrote for them, Movie Times Magazine, Black Belt Magazine, Kung Fu Magazine back when it was there, Taekwondo Times, several newspapers locally. I got in the air where I demonstrated self-defense techniques with one of my instructors, Rod Key, a 3-time world champion and Savate champion, and we did a show with Cox Cables. I also did some fitness programs and some other shows for the local Cox Cable down in Palos Verdes. Just anywhere you can get your marketing. So it's just, as long as it's a numbers game. If you apply and you audition and you submit your information, you have a good quality product that's recognizable. It starts out really small. You're kind of a nobody, and then you just start doing things little by little, doing tournaments. And when I fought the pro circuit, that gave me a lot of exposure on all the ESPN and the Fox networks and all that. This was back in like the 90s. So some of that carries over, not as much of that's shown as a repeat, but as far as like a live show, that does help out. When I did the Octagon fight, that was way back in the days in the shoot, early mid-90s, and that was about mid-90s where they used to film our Octagon fights at the bars in San Pedro with Kaja as the promoter, and that was with one of the original Octagon rings. So the more you're in the industry and the more you see opportunity, I highly recommend go to trade shows, go to knife shows, gun shows, any big gatherings like that, fitness expos, because there's always going to be media. There's always going to be magazines and interview people. SHOT Show is a great part. I did some stuff with them. But if you're staying at home and you're not going out to these events, you're not going to meet the people, and you're not going to meet these magazines to do the interviews. And don't be ashamed to ask. Just ask, hey, can I be a part of this? Can I submit an article? Always remember, the worst they can say is no.